let's get into it, shall we? Let me close all these extra tabs. Open this. Well, let's go, shall we? As been mentioned, unfortunately. ICE detains a woman who runs an anti-Trump TikTok. She's a U.S. citizen born and raised. She was detained for hours as agents searched her phone and social media, even demanding financial statements on how much she earns on TikTok. Her clothing brand, named Trump for the Dump, she donates proceeds to organizations such as supporting LGBTQ rights, HBCUs, immigrants, and Ukraine. The woman who goes by Eyes of Sav was returning from a European vacation to the Miami International Airport with a valid global reentry card issued to her as a U.S. citizen. Agents also interrogated her about her father. He's a U.S. citizen for 25 years who was born in Panama. Quote, I didn't necessarily believe these people. Like, we have free speech. Why would this be possible? She asks, until this happened to me coming into the United States. Guys, I know I said it yesterday, but I'm going to keep saying it every day that I can. Like, if you are traveling outside of the US or even within the US, just travel with your passport. Just make sure you're traveling with your passport. Even if you're just traveling domestically, I'm not joking. I'm being 100% serious.
So I posted a video a couple days ago talking about how I got detained as a United States citizen born and raised, and I'm just going to go over everything, give you guys the entire story and all the details. I was coming back from Spain. I was in Spain for about a month or so. I had a layover in Berlin, Germany for around 2 hours, and then I came into the United States. Here's my global entry card, because a lot of you guys don't believe that I did have global entry. Yes, I do have global entry, and this still happened to me. I still got detained. I went through the global entry line. They scanned my eyes, and I continued walking. I had the green check mark, and then an officer told me I needed to go to the right. So I go to the right. I get asked questions by another officer. He asked me where I'm coming from and what I did for work. I answered TikTok, as I do have other accounts that I am very social on that have thousands of followers. Then he asked me to step into this box-looking thing. It's about 3 sides, and then he told me another officer will come and grab me. That officer then took me to a room, which I did insert a photo of, and I will give you guys again here, which this is the first room I was taken to. So that is the original first room. There was people of all skin colors. I know a lot of people think I was the only minority. And that's where I was asked my father's citizenship status. My father is an American citizen. He has been for the last 25 years before I was born. I did not have the answers to any of those questions because I would not know. From there, they told me to sit back down, and then they transferred me to another room. That other room, the officer asked me what I did for work, exactly why I was traveling. I said the same thing. I did TikTok, and that's why I was traveling, and I wanted to stay there for longer. From that point, I normally saw people either leave after the first room or the second room. They were just good to go. For some reason, they had me go. Now, another officer was escorting me down to the escalators past Border Patrol. From there is this baggage claim area. There was an officer standing in front of this baggage claim. Keep in mind, this is all blocked off. And then there's another officer on the other side. When I was there, my baggage already had been taken for some odd reason. So he told me to continue walking. Then there's rooms, and that's where they asked me to provide my social media accounts for them to go through my TikTok, my Snapchat, my Instagram, my Facebook. As well as show them how much I was making daily on TikTok and show them the deposits that were being made on TikTok. And again, why I was traveling. It's the same questions all over again. From that point on, if you keep walking, they make you keep walking, and that is where they will go through your luggage. They dumped out all my things on the counter, and they were asking me if I was the only person that had packed my bags. Of course, I said yes. But it was the worst search I've ever seen in my entire life. They dumped everything out. They didn't open anything. I had pill bottles that were, in colored containers because that's how my medication came. They didn't even open them. So I don't understand what they even searched. And then again, I was asked the same questions about what I do for work, why I was traveling, for how long I was traveling, and then more again about my father.
The fact that they were asking for the financial statements is fucking insane. Why do random people get to get your info like that just because Trump says so? That's the scariest part. It's you can't lie. You literally can't lie. They wanted career advice? No, I don't think so.
Keep in mind where they searched all my stuff after the room is this pentagon, octagon looking thing, basically underneath the Miami airport, where there's around 40 officers that are just on their phones doing I don't even know what. And so that's how that setup looked. It's extremely scary. Keep in mind, I am the only person I see. There is nobody coming down the escalators with me. There is nobody by the baggage claim. And it's a fake baggage claim because there's officers all around it. And there was also nobody else held where I was at. From that point, after taking my phone, my passport, all my bags, they had asked me when, where, and why if I had any trips planned, and when, where, and why, and for how long. I had no clue. I still don't have a clue. I do not plan to leave the US yet. So I answered no, and he proceeded to.
What's the legal recourse? Isn't that unlawful auditing? I mean, if you're willing to fight it and you have the money to get like a legal team, yeah, you could potentially like sue TSA, whoever are the people that I guess it was ICE agents, she says, right? It was ICE agents. You could potentially get financial compensation, but this is like years long. And in her case, where she was like released without harm, it would be a lot harder to prove for her that, it would be a lot harder for her to plead her case to a judge.
Literally scream in my face 4 times, and I told him no every single time. After about 2.5 hours to 3 hours, and during this entire thing, I was finally let go after telling them no, that I had no plans to leave the United States. I was again handed to around 5 different officers, I'm not sure if I made that clear, and put in around 3 to 4 different rooms. I believe 4. My parents just came back from Mexico, and nothing happened to them. They were completely fine. They went through. They also have global entry. No questions asked at all. And they came in through the Phoenix airport. This happened in the Miami airport. I also want to let you guys know that I am very political on my accounts. I literally have a clothing brand called Trump for the Dump, making meme shirts of Trump, and then it's a nonprofit, so we donate to organizations that he's defunding. I also want to say that I post on my Instagram stories and my TikTok a lot of things anti-Trump and anti-MAGA, whatever you want to call it. So that is a red flag for them. So yeah, my Instagram wasn't completely clean. They didn't do anything about it. They kind of just took my phone and searched through everything. I don't really know what they were looking for. I don't have more answers. I complied with every single thing that they asked. I didn't give them a hard time about anything because I'm more scared than anything.
I mean, like, obviously people like Asmongold aren't going to cover this because it destroys their fucking narrative that this guy was doing terrorist activities, Mahmoud Khalil. But like, the ruling currently is that it was okay for us to detain him as the U.S. government because he hurts U.S. interests. They don't have him on any terrorism charges. They don't have him on any terrorist activity because he didn't do any terrorist activities or didn't participate in any. He didn't organize any. It's literally just we don't like the stuff that you say.
Anything. And I hope that kind of clears up a little bit of confusion for you guys, and also so you guys know that not everyone has to go through this process, because there were many people that were with me that were being held and just got to get let go of. I know one lady was crying in there because she couldn't get a whole different immigration lawyer, so I don't know what that was about. I have no clue. But yes, this is a real story. I have another video showing proof of like where these places were at. But yes, this was at the Miami airport at the end of April.
I mean, I've said since day one that, like, I'm sorry if you defend the detention of Mahmoud Khalil, you are explicitly, exclusively helping support a fascistic state. And these people, like, they don't know what the word fascist means, so they don't understand that when you talk about a fascistic state, you're saying a state that has complete and total authority over what its citizens do in every way, shape, or form that you can. If it's at the point where your government can say, we don't like what you post on TikTok, so we're detaining you. If you don't think that's a fascistic state, I don't know what the fuck universe you live in. I don't know. Maybe it means something. Maybe it only means Nazi Germany to you. Maybe that's what that means to you. But Denims, I don't think they know. Don't you know? The leopards won't eat my face. Yeah. Yeah. Stop cussing, you girl. You're right. We should be polite about the fascists that are trying to actively destroy our country. I'm glad you are pointing out the things that are important. Woman on the internet cursing. Ugh. Woke. Woman being detained for saying things that are against Trump. I sleep. I sleep. I'm glad you focus in on the things that are really important here. That guy ain't Scottish. No Scot says cussing. Yeah, I mean, come on. Be fucking real. Oh, my God. How dare you speak ill of the dear leader? Yeah. Uh-huh. And, like, the thing is, again, people are willing to deal with some levels of government overreach, like actual government overreach. But not when you take away all the treats, aka tariffs. Not when you get rid of people's health care, or which we can talk about this video that like actually like makes me want to
Nice hoodie denims.
explode. And then you just start detaining people? Okay. All right. Denims, they do this in Lebanon too. You got to have all your documents when traveling by plane. This is very typical treatment if you come unprepared. Yes, if a foreigner who isn't a citizen is causing civil unrest and protests, they should be deported. You are very privileged. Go to any country outside of a European one, and you will be deported if you are causing civil unrest. You know this is just not true, right? Like every part of this sentence is incorrect. This is like, dude, you got to stop being peasant brained. You have to stop being peasant brained. You have to stop looking at the countries that are worse off, in your opinion, that you haven't visited. And you have to recognize that you can demand more from your government. You can demand more from your country. We are the richest country on the planet, and people don't have enough money for a $400 emergency. And you are looking at the overlords and being like, my lord, anything for you. I saw that serf there. He was hiding grain. He was hiding grain from you, my lord. That's who you are. Instead of looking at these people who have shitloads of money, so much money that they don't know how to spend it, who are actively making your life as bad as possible by reducing your medical coverage, by reducing your insurance coverage, by making housing unaffordable, by making any type of renting or home ownership unaffordable. People, what's the percentage? It's like 50% of homeless people have a job. They just can't afford housing. So they live in their cars. And when we say, hey, maybe this government is bad, actually, and maybe we don't care enough about our people, you look at that and say, well, it's worse in other places. I'm sorry, man. Not all of us have peasant brain like you. Some of us want the world to be better. We generate, what, billions of dollars of profit for trillions of dollars of profit for how many pieces of shit at the top, and we can't even be afforded housing and healthcare? No, I'm sorry. I will not succumb to peasant brain. That's disgusting. If you aren't a citizen and you're causing civil unrest in a country, you're still a guest in, and you will be deported. Only Euro countries are cucked and think it's something terrible to deport a person who hates the country. So you're not going to address anything that I said? None of that was okay. All right. Have you read the recent statements about Mahmoud? Have you read them? They don't say what you're saying. He's not being prosecuted for civil unrest. The document literally says, we don't like what you say because it's bad for U.S. foreign policy. It's not about civil unrest. It's not about terrorism. They don't have him on those charges. You can go read these documents, dude. It's literally, well, it's bad for U.S. interests. Exactly. Okay, so if you say something bad about the president, you should be deported and sent to a slave labor camp? So like if you were potentially holding up a lock her up sign at a protest, they should deport you. Or maybe a lock him up? No. You're not understanding, Chatter. You're not understanding. It had nothing to do with the fact that he was not a citizen here. It says so in the documents, which you clearly haven't read.
Jailing people for speech is bad for the host country.
Okay, well, I guess you can enjoy your slave labor camp that will be coming for you soon. I guess we'll all womp you when you get sent to El Salvador. And your, I don't know, your parents, your kids, your siblings, all those people, they get sent. I'm a citizen. Like, are you actually dense? Trump is on record saying he's okay with sending citizens to El Salvador. He's on record saying it. Do you just close your ears when he says that and say, la, 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 la? Proof.
Grown criminals that push people into subways, that hit elderly ladies on the back of the head with a. We also have homegrown criminals that push people into subways, that hit elderly ladies on the back of the head with a baseball bat when they're not looking, that are absolute monsters. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country, but you'll have to be looking at the laws on that, Steve, okay?
You mentioned that you're open to deporting individuals that aren't foreign aliens but are criminals to El Salvador. Does that include potentially U.S. citizens, fully naturalized Americans?
If they're criminals and if they hit people with baseball bats over their head that happen to be 90 years old, and if they 87-year-old women in Coney Island, Brooklyn, yeah, that includes them. What, do you think there's a special category of person? They're as bad as anybody that comes in. We have bad ones, too. And I'm all for it. Because we can do things with the president for less money and have great security. And we have a huge prison population. We have a huge number of prisons, and then we have the private prisons, and some are operated well, I guess, and some aren't. But he does a great job with that. We have others that we're negotiating with too. But no, if it's a homegrown criminal, I have no problem. Now, we're studying the laws right now. Pam is studying. If we can do that, that's good. And I'm talking about violent people. I'm talking about really bad people. Really bad people.
Hold up, chat. This is like the goalpost of the century. This is the craziest goalpost of the century. Check this out. Sorry, sometimes you have to write it down for them to understand, so I'm writing it down. Chatter, this is like the average intelligence of like the average right-winger. They say, well, you know what? You're not a citizen. I don't give a fuck if you get deported, okay? It doesn't matter to me. Maybe you shouldn't act that way if you're not a citizen. You tell them, Trump wants to deport citizens, right? Provide proof for that. And then when you provide the proof of him literally saying, yeah, I don't care, we can deport the citizens. Oh, so you want to keep the violent people in the United States? We already have proof that multiple people who were deported were not part of any gangs and had not committed any crimes, and we deported them anyways. And you think you would be special? He's playing by the rules. Oh my God. He literally tried to steal an election. I don't understand. Like, you live in a... He's a felon, dude. Like, he's literally a felon. He literally doesn't play by the rules. On 34 accounts. Oh, sorry. The chat message isn't that big. Sorry. Let me fix this. Like, if Trump is clearly signed off on multiple people being deported who we have since proven are not criminals and we have since demanded they be returned and nothing has happened, there are multiple cases like this. Wait, I'm like, stupid fucking ads. Multiple cases like this. This is, I think, the most popular one, but there are obviously a lot of different ones of people who have committed no crimes that have gotten deported. They have a clean bill of health and they've been deported. And the U.S. government has since asked the Trump administration to return these people. And they've been like, well, our hands are tied. We just can't do anything. And then we asked Bukele, and he's like, well, our hands are tied. We just can't do anything. And then he says, we can also do this to U.S. citizens. And you don't bat an eye. You are delusional enough to think, well, they'll do it to all these other people and they'll do it to U.S. citizens, but they won't do it to me. Just keep pulling the wool over your eyes. Just keep pulling the wool over your eyes, man. Remesio was sat in jail for a month for writing an op-ed. And then I love this. When you show them like actual facts, proof, evidence of any of the claims that you're making, and they have no evidence of any of the claims they're making, they just turn to platitudes. Like, these are the people that say facts over feelings. And the second you show them any facts and show them, we've deported people who are not criminals, have not given them due process, and have refused to return them to the U.S., Trump is on record saying we'll deport U.S. citizens in the same way. They're like, I am the one with clear vision. My purpose is pure. Dude, just fucking... write the fucking 14 words while you're at it, dude. Clearly you want to. I feel bad for you, man. I do. Your brain is goo. That someone can show you proof of all of these things that you're refusing to believe, and then you respond with not the mature adult thing, which is, I didn't know he was deporting people who didn't commit crimes. Not the mature thing of, I didn't know he said that he would deport U.S. citizens. Not the mature thing of, oh, wait, this is how every dictatorship starts. You just deport people without due process, and then you start deporting U.S. citizens without due process. And then you have a country that doesn't allow any type of speech they don't like. Instead of being the mature adult and saying, look at this guy, look. Oh, Houthis have a better version of who the fuck is talking? We're Americans, you fucking idiot. We're talking about America. Stop goalposting. Stop talking. What is this? What is this? What the fuck are you, like, literally, this isn't relevant at all to Trump's policy. Trump's domestic policy has nothing to do with the Houthis. Trump's willingness to deport U.S. citizens for speech he doesn't like has nothing to do with the Houthis. Stop trying to change the subject. It's so crazy. You people just want this country to go to shit and keep pointing at countries that are worse and be like, well, we could be like that. And then when the country gets worse, you're like, well, we could be like that country. And then when the country gets worse, well, we could be like that country. And then when the country gets worse, it's like, we're the only people here that are trying to make the system a little bit fucking better, a little bit more fair. And you look at this shit and you're like, well, we could be Lebanon. Well, we could be China. Well, we could be North Korea. Well, and then like the GDP goes to absolute shit. Well, we could be the island that only has penguins and have no GDP. So pathetic, dude. Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. Unchecked ego, man. Unchecked ego. Anywho, moving on. Moving on. This video and this specific caption. A man battling stage 4 lung cancer was prepared to fly across the country for a life-changing double lung transplant when his insurance companies denied him coverage.
Fighting for his breath, Duran Wells is battling stage 4 lung cancer. The husband and father of 3 is also now battling his insurance company.
I'm really sad that my life is in the hands of these decision makers who seem to make these decisions in such a cold way.
The 59-year-old and his family say Cigna had approved him for procedures that would allow him to be transferred to Northwestern Medicine in Chicago for a clinical trial double lung transplant he had been medically approved for. But Friday, as they were preparing to leave UCLA Medical Center Santa Monica, Cigna denied coverage for both the transplant and medical transfer to Illinois.
The last option we have is for us to take him to Northwestern, period. You know, and I hope Cigna really understands the seriousness of the situation. You know, we're not just a number. We were talking about his life.
This is devastating to me.
Fighting for his breath, Duran Wells is battling stage 4 lung cancer. The husband and father of 3 is also now battling his insurance company.
I'm really sad that my life is in the hands of...
Like, This is why it was such a misstep on Tim Pool's part, Matt Walsh's part, and Ben Shapiro's part to say anything even close to, can you believe left-wing violence about Luigi? It's like, I'm sorry, dude. Legally, I can't endorse it, but I am not fucking shedding tears for CEOs. Are you kidding me? You think I'm going to sit here and cry and be like, it's so sad. He died. I can't believe he died. Fuck you. Oh my God. I don't care at all. I don't care. You get paid to be a total fucking ghoul and you expect people to shed tears for you? Fuck off. It's not a left-wing issue. It's not a right-wing issue. It's anyone who's dealt with the American healthcare system issue. So obscene. You're running defense for a murderer? That dude had a family as well. You will be denied life-saving health coverage on October 7th. 2027. And you will pass, not peacefully, from your illness that you did not get coverage for. RIP. Soon to be RIP chatter for getting a life-threatening illness and then not getting approved for insurance. Cursed, unfortunately. I don't know. I think even Brian Thompson was a profound serial killer himself. I like the idea that if you do the killing through paperwork, it's fine. Like if you deny life-saving medical coverage for people, just like through the paperwork saying, nope, 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 and you're killing hundreds of people, maybe thousands, like you are death noting people in the real world. You're not a fucking murderer. You're sorry, not a murderer. He turned illness and human misery and death into a profit. Yeah, I'm not giving a fuck about him dying. Okay, I'm not crying about a fucking piece of shit that profits because other people suffer. I'm good. I'm good.